Good morning, everybody. Wow.
Well, I just
It's
tested.
thundering. It's thundering outside. Who did that?
Hey, go ahead and do some more thunder.
Wait. Well, I was going to welcome everybody to Let's Talk Antiques.
Is it thunder outside?
It sounded like it, didn't it? But anyway, this is the loudest
My stomach
program on
rumbling.
here right now. And we got a bunch of old antiques here. We're going to talk about antiques. Well, except for Philip and what's his name?
Well, there's two. It's
Who's that
50-50.
other guy over there? I don't remember him last week.
Well, he
He wasn't here last
Oh,
week.
yeah.
He is on tour.
He was on tour.
Yeah.
Okay. But they got the crew back here, and we're going to talk about antiques, and I think it's world globes and old maps and things
Yeah.
like that today. So anyway, do we have to get the official announcement from Philip?
We sure do.
Yeah, we got to know. So
Okay, well, welcome to Let's Talk Antiques. You're listening to us on Thunder Radio, WMSR. It says it right there on the wall, just in case you forget.
it does,
Yeah,
doesn't
there you
it?
go. So,
I never noticed that. It says it up on that side too.
Oh, that's it.
That's for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you can also catch us on Charter Channel 193, and also on our Facebook and YouTube pages. You can just search for us on Facebook or YouTube. It's Let's Talk Antiques, and we come up. When you find us, please like, share, comment. Kind of bumps us up in the ratings, and it's also we're on LightTube every day. At was it 1:30 on Channel 6
Yeah.
on
Yeah,
LightTube?
1:30.
1:30.
Okay.
What
That-
time?
that
What time are we on Charter 193?
Random times.
Random. Okay.
Usually
You
around
have to watch
6:30
the flip
Yeah.
hats. Yeah, 6:30 tonight. Yeah.
on Wednesday, Friday night, and then Sunday, right?
Yes.
Yes.
But it's not the same time every day.
No.
No.
But
So-
you have a schedule, right?
There's a schedule there on the that comes by on the screen if you watch.
Long
So,
enough.
Hey, come on.
Okay.
All right, and I am in the process of swapping out our picture, by the way.
Well, I thought,
It's about
We
time.
actually, I intend to use the what we used for the billboard printout. So
Ooh.
there you go. So we have actually something kind of nice.
Oh, that'd
to
really
swap
be
out with.
nice.
Yeah.
There you go.
And by the way, we get a lot of compliments. People says they see our sign, behind the restaurant.
Yeah.
You can't miss it though.
I can. I've had other people tell me you can't miss it, and guess what? I'm lost for days.
Well, if you're looking in that direction and your eyes are open, you won't miss
You
it.
won't miss it.
My
Yes.
my only question is, can you dip your fries in some ketchup and throw it hard enough to get it to stick on the sign?
Don't give people ideas.
Not for long. Let's put it like that.
Depends on what kind of ketchup you
It
use.
washes off. So that
You probably could with ours because ours is nice and thick,
Okay.
not watered down.
He's probably a guy that would go in the store and lick the ice cream.
I have my cow lick the ice cream.
I saw that on
There you
Facebook. Anyway,
Okay, so what we're going to do,
So what are we talking about today, Dave?
well, we're going to talk about world globes,
Okay.
old world globes, the value of them, and then we're going to get into something really interesting, but Howard's brought his own little globe, and we're going to talk about it after we do a little history.
okay.
And sure enough, every time that I send him the schedule on what we're going to do, he's always got an item. You're doing good right now.
I'm running out of items.
No, you'll have them.
Okay.
But anyway, you'd be surprised around the house some of these old globes and some of the old maps.
You're right.
The value, right?
Yeah, that's
Do you have any?
globe. My brother had one when I was little. He got one when he was in school, and then it was handed down to me, and I handed it off to a cousin or somebody like that when I got older. So
Ronnie, do you have any?
Don't.
I
I
have
don't.
one right beside my back door.
oh,
You have one?
Not
Besides
well.
that one?
This is the only one I got left. I used to
I
have
got
one
the
of those.
nicest
Got
one.
one of those big ones. It used to be about the size of a basketball.
Yeah, we
And,
have one
it
about
had
that
spun,
size.
and but I don't know what happened to that. That just kind of disappeared.
You've
over
got
the
one that
years.
fits down in the stand, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
Fits down the wooden
I was
stand.
trying to think of the material that it's made out of. It is so pretty.
Some of them were really beautiful.
Yeah.
Big wooden frames.
Yeah.
Kind of around the side, and the globes were in them.
Well,
But,
those have value, Howard.
Oh, of course. Now, see, everybody Googles it.
Yeah.
Google Earth.
Yeah,
Google Earth,
exactly.
that's your globe.
Yeah, you know.
I guess they still make globes. Hey, I'll tell you something else. Don't let me forget this. Remember when we was in school, Howard, when they wanted to talk about world countries and stuff, they pulled down this like a window shade.
Oh yeah, it was always mounted on the wall.
And it worked like an old window shade.
Right.
And they'd pull it down, and it would have all the different countries
It
on
would
it.
have a hemisphere on each side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did y'all have it when you?
I remember them.
Yeah, I had them. Yeah, I had them too.
I bet you don't have them now.
No,
I
you
doubt
don't.
it.
You
If-
just look it up on your iPad.
Yeah, now they would just say, ask Google, hey Google, give me a map, and they say, now I don't know if this is true because they say that young people today can't read a road map
Really?
because they've never seen them. Remember, you used to go into a gas station and buy
Free.
gas. You go in and say, hey,
Yeah.
I'm going on a trip next week. You have a map of Michigan? And even though it was here in Manchester, they had a rack full of all the states.
And it'd be like Gulf or
Yeah,
Texaco,
Gulf,
Phillips
Texaco.
66.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, it was advertisement, man.
And
Yeah.
then when you stop at the rest area, when you got into that state, you get a new one just in case they've updated stuff
Yeah,
at the
and now I
Welcome
think
Center.
you can still get those. I think
Yeah.
if you stop at like coming into Tennessee, because they put
At least you used to.
tour.
I don't know.
I believe that's still
Let's see.
available. But no, who asked for them? Because you rely on the GPS
it's-
to get you lost. But
You have to have this big giant thing covering the whole front seat and,
Yeah.
and half the dashboard while you're trying to figure out where you're at.
Well, what you really had, Philip, was a navigator.
yeah.
yeah,
True.
that's right. The person that sat in the passenger seat
read
had
the
the map
map.
out, and they would tell you, you better make a left up at this next intersection, or wherever they keep you on track. See, if you were in strange areas.
Isn't it amazing how things have changed?
Yes. And when I was in the service and I was in Vietnam, we had maps of Vietnam, and when we'd go out on a mission, we would get a map of the particular area we were going into.
You better had one.
And it wasn't like today. I doubt if they'd give you a big paper map.
I think they
And-
probably do everything digital.
Everything is
Yes.
digital. It's they probably have
Well, the
an
military is
iPad.
the one that put the GPS satellites up. So,
So but we had to plot where we were, and we were adjusting artillery fire. And so if you stuck the pin in the wrong spot, guess what?
You missed.
You missed. So, but that's how we did it, and that's gone.
Nowadays, I think there are speakers in their combat helmets. And
Oh,
a
I'm
data
sure
link.
it's totally different
Yes,
now,
and they
it-
have little displays.
display and everything, or they carry an iPad. I don't know what they do.
I
They-
think that's
be
how
honest
they do
with
it
you,
with
I
their
haven't-
helmets.
But we'd come into an area and sit down, and so when we would put the guns in, we would have to plot and figure out where we were, if that was really where we were.
Yeah.
You used your compass and your plot, and you figure out this is where we
Yeah.
are, and that's from that point. Then the guns would be shooting. So if that was wrong, even though the person on the other end was right, you would still miss the
Well,
target
if
and
you
maybe
didn't-
kill innocent people.
Yeah.
See,
If you didn't orientate your compass, you was in trouble.
yeah.
And just think about the plane part of it. The planes flying in the 30s and 40s
Yeah.
and 50s.
Well, of course, when early,
I bet money they didn't have automatic pilot.
well,
Yeah.
early mail, air mail, the pilots followed the railroad tracks. When they wanted to go from here to Chattanooga, they followed the what was L&N railroad track down. If they were not familiar with the
Well,
area
you had
at
to
all.
have landmarks.
And
there.
so
Everything
you would,
was the
you'd
same.
go along, and that's how. And then later, I can remember flying in. That would have been in the. When was that? 60s, I guess. We were flying down through Alabama, and the pilot. We were up to date then. So he'd tune in, and we'd listen to a country station. Like we were going to Fort Rucker, and he would hone in on the radio signal.
Yes.
Signal. Oh, wow. I didn't know you could do that.
You should
Yeah.
do that. So you should follow the radio signal, and that's why. That's why, like in World War II, when they had the blackouts and they would turn the lights out so the enemy couldn't see the targets, they also turned off radio stations and stuff because the enemy could hone in on
With their
a
VOR.
radio with their radio in the airplane. and find a particular city or target area.
Oh wow, I did not know that.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
Howard.
and but that's old. That's really
There you
old
go.
school. You know.
That's what I read.
Well, they still use that.
Oh, I'm sure they
Yeah,
do, but that's
I know they do.
but today, if you're firing off a rocket or something, it's not listening
True,
to
yeah,
the
yeah.
country and western station.
Or what about WMSR?
They might have.
I have used WMSR myself.
I think a lot of little planes do around
Mhm,
here
yeah.
because every once in a while, I see a plane fly over us,
Mhm.
over our tower, and I think they've honed in on it.
Did
Oh,
you,
well,
Ronnie,
done.
when
I
you
done that myself with WMSR.
Yeah.
when he was getting his pilot license?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
see, so
Let's say when I was reading a biography of Elon Musk, and his grandparents moved from Canada to South Africa, and they were the first husband-wife couple to fly from South Africa to Australia. So they flew up the coast of Africa, all the way across all the Middle East, and then flew across to Australia.
Oh, be
And there
nice.
were not maps
No.
available at the gas station.
there are no landmarks in the middle of the ocean.
And most of it was over land, but that's incredible.
But that's why they
So-
stayed on the land. See,
he
Well,
comes from a line of people that take chances and go out and do.
but if you read
crazy
any
stuff.
of the books about the early pilots, back I guess probably in the 20s or earlier, the little flying those little bi-wing things.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Airmail and stuff like that. They followed railroad tracks as much as possible because even the highway system wasn't as developed as it is today.
Sure. That makes sense.
And so you'd follow the railroad from Chicago to
Railroads,
maybe St. Louis or out to Salt Lake City or
they
something.
don't change very often either.
No,
so.
and it was
No.
very visible. See,
Yeah.
it was easy to follow. You just follow the railroad track,
And they had detailed railroad maps.
and they had good railroad maps. See.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, when we start searching, you can do that antique railroad map.
Yeah,
I actually have
And
some.
so they use those.
yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, nowadays everything is GPS off a satellite, and the pilot just, I guess they punch in coordinates or something. I don't know exactly what a pilot would do in a big jet, but it guides them there. It takes off, lands, and all
Yeah.
that, and they just sit there for the
It
ride.
does most of the work. Yeah,
Yeah.
true.
Yeah, I've seen on the news where they said they was even taking naps.
Well, I
while
wouldn't doubt that.
I would rather them not take
Yeah,
naps.
Yeah.
that was the question. Would you rather them not?
Well, on some of these big planes, one person I don't think could fly it. It's so complicated.
Yeah.
They
No.
need multiple computers that are on board to make all those minor adjustments constantly to keep that thing smooth and level.
Mm.
Not like the old days.
Hey, the Vietnam maps.
Uh-huh.
Did it also show you the enemy's territory too? Like when you get that little section, would it have the enemy's territory?
No, they
Kinda
were
laid out.
they were kind of like just a topographical map. Showed all the elevations and the mountains and the rivers and the streams, and that's how you figured out where you were. See, and
Landmarks.
landmarks, villages, and that were known to exist.
Mm-hmm.
And but no, now when the briefing ahead of time, you would be told where they might be, and you might take your map. And we used to use that stick and peel stuff to
Oh, okay. I was going to say, how
kind
did
of
you mark on it?
Yeah,
you
well,
know,
we'd put that on to protect it from the rain because it rained an awful lot there.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And and then of course you could write on it with a grease pencil. See, if you needed to make notes and stuff.
The country wasn't really divided till after the war, was it? As far as boundaries, political boundaries?
No, it was after the war that North and South. North and South Vietnam. Of course,
Right.
and after we pulled out, it became one country again.
Yes.
I guess it had been divided somewhere or another there.
Sorry.
Because
Don't
the
know.
French had it at once.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. I've seen
And
some stuff
they-
about that.
South.
They
North-
fought for years and quit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Matter of fact,
So
where
did
we
we.
were located, there were a lot of French,
Architecture things.
not architecture, but bunkers and things like that, where they had dug in to try
Well, that'd be
to hold
architecture,
areas. See, and we kind of took some of those over.
Oh, cool.
But
The only thing is, the Vietnamese already knew where those were.
well, of course, yeah,
Yeah.
they were plotted on their maps.
Oh, well.
So that would be their landmark.
I guess so. It was pretty easy to figure out where we were.
See-
We were
see-
kind of noisy.
See, we have sat here and talked, 10 minutes, and it's Isn't it interesting about maps, how they really affect everybody's life?
And what you
Well,
can do with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess I'm still old school. I like a road map. I like.
Where do you get them?
Well, it's hard. It really is.
Come out to my house. I got all kind of, but I bet you the roads have changed.
Well,
on my
that's the
map.
problem. See, some of those.
Well, you pull it up on Google and print it if you want.
Yeah, there
Well,
you go. Google
but-
will print you a map.
Yeah,
you
I
don't want
guess
to do that.
But because I've had some bad experiences with GPS, and they don't.
Yeah, they say
do-
a lot of
they do good.
times, Howard. They say a lot of times it's the operator on that stuff,
Eh,
not
well-
able to listen to instructions.
Well,
You know, turn
Yeah.
left, not right.
well,
You know,
that's
that
true.
one of
I've
those-
always had that problem, you know. But we do have a camper, and the Google doesn't necessarily or a Garmin or what's the other? There's two or three.
I don't know. There's a bunch of them in
Two
there.
or
Yeah,
three
I
big
don't know
companies.
what the other one
They
is.
don't always tell you about that overpass that's not
Too low.
too low. And here you come down through
Oh, my
there
goodness.
with your camper, and that bridge is only. That clearance is only 12 feet, and I need 12 feet 6 inches or 13 feet or something like
Go
that.
out
Yeah.
and
How do
let
you
the
do
air out
that?
of
What do
your
you do,
tire.
Howard?
You turn around and go
Yeah,
back.
but if
the
you're
air
on
out
the
of your
interstate,
tire.
how?
Oh,
do you-
well, now the interstate's different.
Okay.
Interstate's built to federal specifications.
So they're
They
See,
have to be X amount
Yeah,
of
the
height.
interstates were built for national defense. A lot
Right.
of people don't know that. And
Eisenhower started that.
Yeah, all bridges have to be at least a certain feet high, and that was to accommodate military vehicles.
I didn't know that.
And also, every so many miles, there has to be a big, long straight stretch. That's to accommodate military aircraft that could land on the interstate if they
Okay.
needed it. See, in other words, if we were attacked, we might need a
you use it
highway.
for a runway.
You could use it for a runway. Or you can hide something under a bridge or something, but it has to be a certain height. Or get a tank under a certain thing or something, or a particular gun or something.
But now you're right. Like when you get in northeastern stuff, when you get into some of those towns, those older towns,
Older towns.
those underpasses.
A lot of old railroad bridges, overpasses
yeah.
down in downtown where it was built 1900s.
Yeah.
And it maybe is 11 feet tall. I'm just picking.
And
a
that
number.
would have probably been
and,
real
and,
tall.
And that truck that you're driving is 12. And you see, if you ever go on Facebook, you'll see these people where they drive down and then run into the bridge with the top of the truck. You see, they do
Makes a convertible out of it.
make
Yeah.
a convertible. It's kind of funny, but unless you're the one driving
Unless
that
you're the one
truck.
driving.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
But,
So
but
see how maps affect everybody?
yeah. And of course, like I say, Google. The maps are good. The GPS systems, 95 or 98% of the time, is probably accurate and good, but they get mixed up sometimes.
Was we supposed to take a break at 9:15?
Oh, it's too late. The lights are going out. Help!
Yeah.
We better take a break.
Yeah. When we get back, Philip's gonna give us a little history on the globes.
Globe
then we're
trotting.
Huh?
Globe trotting.
Yeah. Oh, the Globetrotters. I like them.
I liked them too. When I was in the 7th grade, they came to our school.
Ooh.
That's been a while. Right, Howard?
Yeah, it's time to take a break.
All right.
We'll be right back.
Hello, I'm Pick and Rick T from CFC, best place to get you used auto parts and all types of metals to repurpose for your needs. Just take a drive down 55, see this handsome guy, stop on by. Check out our computer for hundreds of autos to locate the make and the model of the part you need. $2 fee is all you pay. Sign in and get a hand stamp, it's good for all day. Bring in your tools, get the parts you need pulled, and use a wheelbarrow to lighten the load. Pay for your parts, prices you'll be fond of. Each part's price the same, Chevy or Honda. Get exchange warranty for 30 days too. Swap out the parts you don't need for the parts that you do. Happy pick.
The Jiffy Burger on the Hillsborough Boulevard in Manchester has been voted as having the best hamburgers in Manchester. Hometown atmosphere, historical memorabilia, and of course those great burgers, salads, chicken, and so much more. It's the Jiffy Burger on the Hillsborough Boulevard in Manchester. Call in orders at 728-4452. You can also order at the convenient outdoor curb service. Hamburgers are made the old-fashioned way at the Jiffy Burger, Manchester's finest hamburgers. Open 7:30 until 9, Monday through Saturday.
Yeah, we're back. We're back.
Okay. Our subject today.
Yeah, what is this?
Yes.
I forgot. Maps.
Don't you
Well,
say globetrotting again.
To start with is globes and maps. So, all right. So prior to 2000, most classrooms featured a world globe. Today, as classrooms become more digital, the globe is becoming obsolete. Globes have a long history, which makes collecting antique and vintage globes a joy for those who love world history and geography. According to Omni Terrarium, vintage and handmade globes are the most ancient scientific instruments known. Their history extends more than 1,000 years, and still today, globes are being produced in large numbers. The first known globe, a revolving sphere, was made by Crates of Malus, circa 2nd century BC. The site reported that the oldest known Western terrestrial globe that is still in existence today was made in 1492 by Martin Beham of Nuremberg, Germany, and is in the Germanic Museum of Nuremberg. There are several different types of globes illustrating either political boundaries or physical features of the Earth. Metzgers.com says there are world globes that come in the form of floor globes, desktop globes, illuminated globes, mini globes, and inflatable globes. Metzgers also mentions that some world globes use a molded, raised relief or 3D surface to represent mountains and valleys. That was the one that I had as a kid. I had that. For those who would like to start a collection of globes, Lambeisler said that for globes in good condition, with some age and worth collecting, buyers can expect to pay around $100. Globes from before World War II are usually pricier, and globes from before 1900 are increasingly rare and can run into the thousands of dollars, depending on condition and rarity. He added that most globes in the vintage category are from the 1940s to the 1960s, and while many are collectible, they are worth far less money. Some of the most collectible geographical globes include, or you can tell if the country of Iran is shown as Persia, which dates a globe having been before 1935. If Israel is shown, then the globe was made after 1948. If Vietnam is one nation versus being split in North and South, then the globe was made after 1976. Lambeisler suggested for those just starting out considering starting to collect globes to buy a globe or an object because you love it. Never mind worrying about the profit in mind. Lambeisler recommends researching a globe before purchasing to make sure that the price is in the right range. He estimates his collecting time is 90% spent on research and 10% buying and selling. So there you go. And we have looked up some globes.
Yeah, we're going to start with Howard's, though.
Oh, okay.
And so you heard those three things that kind of date your globe. Now, Howard, it's 9:27. Are we supposed to take a break at 9:30, or do you want to?
9:32.
9:32.
We got 5 minutes.
Okay.
All right. This little globe here is.
So where does that put your globe?
All right. It doesn't have Persia. It has Arabia.
Mm-hmm.
So,
okay.
But now Israel. You said Israel.
Yeah.
It does have Israel right here.
Okay.
So that would be like
So
48.
it's after 48.
But I did notice that like Korea is one country. It's not broken into two. So that 48, it's probably right in that late 40s, very early 50s, because the Korean War was in the 50s, wasn't it? 51, 52, 53, somewhere in there. So this is a small globe. It's a bank. It's got it does have the key and everything for it.
Kind of hold it right there. There we go. There we go.
I really like the advertising.
Yeah,
on the bottom of it, Harold.
what's really neat about this is along the bottom it has airlines, and it has TWA, Trans World Airlines. How about Western Airlines? These are all ones that I can kind of sort of remember. Northeast, I don't remember that one. Trans Canada, Trans Texas Airway, Northwest Orient. Now here's one that says Fly TWA Jetstream. I don't know why. Is that different than the other TWA? Well, of course, Royal Dutch, I think, is still Lufthansa. Pan American. There's another big company that's gone. National Airlines, Capital Airlines, North Central Airlines.
Hey, I have. Speaking of national airlines, they made 50 executive planes and mine is still the prop ones.
Uh-huh.
And I've got one of the 50.
Wow.
And it's huge. I mean, it's
Yeah.
like
And
2 foot.
They're beautiful too. aren't they?
Yeah.
Oh, the detail and everything.
And National's gone too.
National, Eastern Airlines. Remember them? Braniff. Remember Braniff?
Oh yeah.
Now, we have a pilot that actually flew for them that lives here in Coffee County.
Yeah, I had a friend that well, I think he's passed on. He used to work for them in Nashville somewhere, in the terminal. Wasn't a pilot or anything like that, but I remember him when he
Yeah.
lost his job.
How I know that globe, it predates 1960 because in 1960 Howard Hughes had to sell TWA to American Airlines.
See, so there you go.
All
That's
right,
another way.
is the Central African Federation on there?
Central
African Federation.
in Africa, it's got French West Africa. It's got for I guess the Sudan area. It says Anglo-Egyptian Sudan. French was that French Ecuador, Africa? Was that?
Okay, so it's showing French West Africa?
Yeah, French West.
Okay. In 1960, that ceased to be.
So it's
So
prior
it's
to
between
that.
48 and 1960, at least.
Yeah. So now
Well, really, it's back farther than that because of the Vietnam.
Vietnam.
I mean,
Well,
the Korea.
48
well,
because of Israel. It's
Yeah.
got Israel on
yeah,
it.
like
so
Yeah.
it can't
after
be.
But the Korea.
Korea's
so
one
after
country.
about 52 or 3,
Somewhere in there's when the war,
was
the
no-
that was
conflict.
53. So
That's
yes,
when the
so
conflict ended, and it would have been north and south.
yeah.
See?
So we know it's between 48
Yeah.
and 53.
Oh,
Now,
okay.
I did look this up on a while back. I haven't looked at it. It's not really worth a whole lot. I don't know, $20 or something.
How long ago did you look it up?
Oh, a year or so ago.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't know.
All right.
I don't know.
I tell you what, it's excellent shape, though.
It's
and
really nice, and it's a real neat little piece, especially with all the old airlines on
Yeah,
it.
Yes.
the old airline part makes it special.
I
you
think
find
so.
an airline pilot who was into it, then there you go.
Yeah.
You know, the problem with it, though, Howard, is I don't hear it rattling.
It's
No,
well,
You have
no
quit
money.
saving money in it.
It used to be
Piggy
full, used to be full, but you know how the
Took
times
all
are
your gold
tough.
coins
Hey,
out.
just think at one time it was full of silver dimes and quarters.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Thank you. But anyway, I thought that was interesting.
It
and when
is
you sent me
interesting.
the
It is.
notice about the globes, I said,
Yes.
I've got a globe here.
And by the way, would you take $20 for it?
Now, look at this guy. I was thinking more like 100.
Well, I thought you said it was worth 20.
No, I said it's worth
That
100.
was what it was worth a year ago.
Oh, yeah.
That was a year ago.
Inflation.
So it's
Inflation.
$100 from 20 in a year. That's a good globe.
There you go.
Hey, we better take a break.
Yeah, it's right on time.
Okay.
Well, you really watch that, don't you?
Yeah.
Lucky you do. I don't.
Hello, I'm Pickin' Rick T from CFC, best place to get you used auto parts and all types of metals to repurpose for your needs. Just take a drive down 55, see this handsome guy, stop on by. Check out our computer for hundreds of autos to locate the make and the model of the part you need. $2 fee is all you pay. Sign in and get a hand stamp, it's good for all day. Bring in your tools, get the parts you need pulled, and use a wheelbarrow to lighten the load. Pay for your parts, prices you'll be fond of. Each part's price the same, Chevy or Honda. Get exchange warranty for 30 days too. Swap out the parts you don't need for the parts that you do. Happy pick.
The Jiffy Burger on the Hillsborough Boulevard in Manchester has been voted as having the best hamburgers in Manchester. Hometown atmosphere, historical memorabilia, and of course those great burgers, salads, chicken, and so much more. It's the Jiffy Burger on the Hillsborough Boulevard in Manchester. Call in orders at 728-4452. You can also order at the convenient outdoor curb service. Hamburgers are made the old-fashioned way at the Jiffy Burger, Manchester's finest hamburgers. Open 7:30 until 9, Monday through Saturday.
All right. Now we're going to talk about antique
Globes.
globes.
Okay, so we covered your $20 globe.
Yeah.
Is it 20? I'm going to pay you right now, and I want all these people to be a witness. You going to take the 20 for it?
I'm holding out for 100. It's going to go up in value.
You know, the only way I would give $100 if you put $90 worth of quarters in it.
Okay, so we covered Howard's $100 globe.
That doesn't sound like a very good deal. I may be dumb, but
No, you're not.
All right, so the highest price globe that I found on here is a 1728 first edition, extremely rare Doppelmayr terrestrial globe, and the writing on it's in Italian. So I can't read much of the detail on the globe per se.
You don't speak Italian?
No, not well at least.
You did the Mamma Mia stuff, don't you?
So they wanted $7,500 and took a best offer, but it was probably pretty close to that actually.
Can you top that, Ronnie?
I can't top it, but
But what?
well, but they asked 75.
You can't top it, right?
Listen, they asked 75, but they took somewhere north of 1,500 for it, actually.
1,500?
Somewhere north of 1,500.
Oh, okay.
Because the next 4 items they took the best offer, so you can't really tell.
Oh.
But the next one is an extremely rare antique 1770 globe. They were asking $5,000 for it, and done the same, something north of 1,500. So
All right.
we
I've
don't
got
know
a-
exactly.
Antique new terrestrial globe by G. Woodards of London from the 1840s, and they were asking $2,900 and took a best offer. This is a gorgeous globe. It's got like a floor stand and just all the parts that go with it. The first two were just the globes by themselves, not mounted on anything. But this is like one you would see in a really nice mount.
Mm-hmm.
And the next one's pretty cool too.
It's something different.
Yeah.
It's a World War II, 1940 German U-boat navigation star globe, and they used this on the U-boats
How
so
about
that
that?
they didn't have to spend as much time on the surface. They were asking $2,700 for it. Let's see if they got it. No, they took a best offer.
Hey, by the way, talking about U-boats, did they have to surface just to charge their batteries?
I believe so. After so many hours of underwater, because they had lead batteries like you have in your car,
Right.
and they had generators, and they would have to come up,
Oh, so those generators
Or-
could have air.
to run, so or at least come up to where some kind of a snorkel thing came up out of the
Yeah.
water. But that put them close to the top, which then they could be seen.
Yeah,
by
I
an
always heard they
aircraft
had to
and stuff.
come.
But I think
come up.
I think they came up all the way. Plus, have you ever been on a submarine?
No,
No. Have you?
Have you?
Not in combat or anything
Oh,
like that.
okay,
Not
okay,
in the
yeah.
Navy. I couldn't live down. But I've been like on a tour, where they have ones on display. And
yeah.
I'll tell you what, there's not much room in there. If you're down there for a long period of time, I think I'd start climbing the walls because it's very confining, and it's not the freshest air and all that stuff. After a while, I would say. Now today, I think things are much better with the nuclear subs
And a lot more headroom.
and a lot more headroom. Yeah, very tight, very very tight. So
Yeah, still compared to.
So when they came up to charge their batteries, that was a good time for letting the crew members come up and get some fresh air and stretch.
We're getting off subject, but they said, like when the new subs come up and stuff, that when they do come up after breathing that pure oxygen or close to pure, that when they do come up, that the air smells bad. Have you ever heard that?
You mean that's modern day
When
subs?
when they first come up.
Yeah, probably modern day subs, but they didn't have all that fancy stuff back in World War
all
II
those
days.
scrubbers, to scrub,
Yeah,
scrub
so-
the air.
So what you got there, Philip? Or if we don't, we're going to not get a
I've
two or
got
three
a
globes.
vintage. It says it's in exceptional condition. Tripanese planetarium, complete, working, all original. So this is like a, it's got the Earth on one side of it and the sun in the middle, and you crank it around, and it's got markers on the base telling you, what month and things like that as to where the sun, also the moon, is there.
I think
So,
that's really neat,
it's
'cause
very
it
cool.
shows you the positions.
How much was that one?
$1,500.
Hey, before you do yours, Ronnie, I got my favorite daughter
Yeah.
sent me a text, says, I have some huge maps at Hollis's house. That's a house she just bought next door to her. And the big leather case they go in.
Oh,
Wow.
Cool.
Oh, that's
Big
cool.
leather case. And then she says, you should come by after the show and grab them.
I think you should go by.
Well, we got to go by anyway, haven't we?
You gonna
Take your
get?
car.
You gonna give her more than $20 for them?
I probably am, just to show you.
Should we jump to maps then
Yeah.
real quick and just all right, so we have a whole lot of things that we're supposed to talk about.
Well, we only
we're
got
40 minutes in and still
20
on the same subject.
We got 20 minutes.
All right, so the second thing
A
was
break in 8.
vintage maps. So I've got a 1663.
Did you do vintage maps or antique maps?
I've got antique map.
Yeah.
I've got a 1663 to 1680, the Wang Zhengfu Chinese map of Ming China and the world. $60,500 was the selling
Whoa.
price on that.
But that was the
During the Ming
buy it now?
Dynasty.
That, yes, that was the buy it now price.
How
yeah.
about that? They didn't even Jew them.
But 1600. What was the date?
1663 to 1680,
Wow, that's old. I mean,
and
you
it's
can imagine.
it's
Now, is it on silk, or the Chinese did a lot of stuff on
probably
silk?
so. It's got folds in it and a lot of Chinese writing, believe it or not. Very
said-
good wormholing throughout, as is common with Asian material of this period. Wormholes can be patched and with matching paper at buyer's request, they say. This is from a Geographicus rare antique map company that was selling on eBay. And they've got like paragraphs about it. So
Looks
it's
like a huge
54
paragraph.
inches by 49 inches.
My goodness.
So, pretty nice.
So what's the next thing to that, Ronnie?
Okay, we have one here that depicts the orbits of the planets and the maps of the zodiac from 1661. Now,
That's back.
how accurate that is, for that era, it may be. But it brought $9,995.
But it also got free shipping.
Now, this
Well,
is printed on a copper
That's
plate.
nice. On a copper plate, no less.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
How about
and,
that?
and the view is of our eastern hemisphere
Huh.
because it's a European map,
Yeah.
not our,
Yeah, and
not our southern.
1661 too. Yeah.
Can you top that, Philip?
No, but I've got a nice antique historic map of Kansas and Nebraska from 1854 with the Indian territories marked on those.
Now that's neat.
Yeah.
And they were asking $5,000 and they got really, really close to that because the next one went for $48.50. So, and that's a John Tallis 1851 atlas, illustrated atlas of the world with 81 original maps.
That's amazing.
That sounds pretty cool. Well, you
You
said
broke 'em up,
It's
no
less
telling.
than the other ones, but it's
yeah, but if you broke them up, don't tell them
$4,800.
what they'd bring.
Yeah.
You know, if you broke them up and frame them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought of that.
Mm-hmm. Well, you just did.
Okay.
You got something, Ronnie?
Yeah, but I can't read the writing on it.
You can't write the reading?
I have ended up with these so far. Do you want to read that?
I'm gonna say it's a foreign map.
Nova
Ronnie.
Totius Terram Orbis
I'm saying
Geographica.
You've
But-
got a Latin map.
Yeah, it's a Latin map. I don't.
Is there a
speak
year
that.
on it at least?
1630.
There you go. Okay.
And it
How much did it
brought
bring?
somewhere north of 1550.
Can you top that?
I've got Ogilby Nurikov Kitcher. It's the embassy to China in 1673 folio map plates. There were 54 bids on it and went for $3,950.
I don't see that one.
That's pretty cool.
I wish I'd have saved those old maps from the gas station.
Oh yeah, I've got some standard oil ones. here
Couple
we'll
hundred
look at
years?
in a
yeah,
minute.
I keep them long enough.
Well, some of those maps, Howard, bring some money anyway.
Possibly.
Especially the 20s and early
yeah.
ones.
Well,
There's a 1764 for Lloyd Harbor of Long
standard oil.
Island map.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted $3,500 and took a best offer that was north of $3,000.
What'd you say about that Gulf map, Ronnie?
okay. Well, I got a standard oil here,
Okay.
1924 of Alabama, Crown gas station, $152.50 for 14
See?
bids.
You could have got that free.
I could have got that for free.
And we have Gulf Standard and American Mobile. About $44.
Yeah, well, that's a pretty good
Hey,
return
that's
on
pretty
your
good for
investment.
Especially since
for-
it was free.
For a
Yeah.
free map, just hanging on to
Yeah,
it.
so here's the thing. Just imagine, they got rid of all them maps when they decided to quit doing that.
Yeah.
You could have got cases of them for nothing.
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah. Yeah. See,
What do you say,
never,
Philip?
you should
I'm
never
sorry.
throw anything away.
I was just reading to make sure what I had. Here's an antique 1824 Carey's Universal Atlas world map. America, Europe, Asia, Africa. Clean antique map of a long gone world. Incredible work with water stains. The boards are off and not chewed into the paper. Some pages could use a cleaning and could be rebound, but the maps are incredible. And that sold for after you add shipping, a little over $3,000. Yeah.
That's really nice.
We
there.
got a call here. It
1824.
might might be for us. You want to see who it is?
Yeah.
Sure,
If
why
it ain't,
not?
take it as a swap shop.
Yeah. You're listening to Let's Talk Antiques.
The swapping shop.
No, Swap and Shop's long off. Be back tomorrow
I
morning.
want to wish a happy birthday to Ronald Smitty.
Okay. Ronald Smitty, that's today?
Yeah.
All righty. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Well, it wasn't for us, folks.
Well, I told you it was
That's
for swapping
close.
shop.
Yeah.
Write that down because somebody gets a cake, don't they?
Well, at the end of the week.
Okay.
A pizza today.
Okay. All right. So now we're gonna have to take a break when you get through writing.
Oh, yeah. It's
Why
time
don't you go ahead and do that, and then you can finish writing.
Because if I don't do it right now, I'll probably forget it. I got short-term memory.
Yeah, but they call you back tomorrow.
Probably. All right, we'll be back in a couple minutes here. Well, a minute anyway.
Hello, I'm Pickin' Rick T from CFC, best place to get you used auto parts and all types of metals to repurpose for your needs. Just take a drive down 55, see this handsome guy, stop on by. Check out our computer for hundreds of autos to locate the make and the model of the part you need. $2 fee is all you pay. Sign in and get a hand stamp, it's good for all day. Bring in your tools, get the parts you need pulled, and use a wheelbarrow to lighten the load. Pay for your parts, prices you'll be fond of. Each part's price the same, Chevy or Honda. Get exchange warranty for 30 days too. Swap out the parts you don't need for the parts that you do. Happy pick.
The Jiffy Burger on the Hillsborough Boulevard in Manchester has been voted as having the best hamburgers in Manchester. Hometown atmosphere, historical memorabilia, and of course those great burgers, salads, chicken, and so much more. It's the Jiffy Burger on the Hillsborough Boulevard in Manchester. Call in orders at 728-4452. You can also order at the convenient outdoor curb service. Hamburgers are made the old-fashioned way at the Jiffy Burger, Manchester's finest hamburgers. Open 7:30 until 9, Monday through Saturday.
All right, we're back.
Okay, so I got this trivia question, and you three geniuses answered it. So I got this hand-colored map. Mm-hmm. It's from a book that I've got. It says Nations of the World.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and on this hand-colored map, it shows all the nations of the world in 1837.
Right.
Okay, so my question to the audience is, what state of the United States at one time was its own nation? And if anybody knows that, give us a call real quick, or call us. Just give us a call anyway, and we'll go ahead and talk a little bit more about these others. What state in the United States at one time was its own nation?
And you'll win Howard's Globe.
No.
Yeah, and you get Howard's Globe.
No. Unless you got $100.
Howard's Globe and $90 worth of quarters in it.
Yeah.
You know, he's trying to get me in trouble, isn't he?
All right, so if anybody's listening knows that answer, just give us a call.
All right, let me see. I've got something pretty cool here. Let me get the actual listing. I've got George Forster's Voyages to the American Northwest Coast from 1791. And it is all in German. So I
Oh, we
can't
do
be
ha-
helped with that
Hang
too
on, we
much.
do have a
And
call
we'll give you a
coming
price.
in.
All right,
$3,050 is
All
the
right.
winning bid on that.
let's have that call.
Let's see. You're on Let's Talk Antiques.
Texas.
You're
There
right.
you go.
I'm putting you right up there with Howard and Ronnie and Philip. Ain't that the coolest
Hey,
thing, though?
Didn't Howard fight at the Alamo?
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
That's why he knew the answer.
On both sides.
On both sides.
Did you hear that on both sides?
Yeah, well, he was with Jim Bowie and Davy Crockett.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then he took off with the Mexican general after that.
Yeah.
Enjoy the show.
Well,
Thank you.
thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir.
Now, see, it's hard to believe that Texas was its own nation. You know, in today's, if you think about today, who would ever think that?
Well, if you're from Texas, you would think that because they still want to be their own nation.
Well,
A lot of them
the
think
point.
they are.
yeah.
well, didn't you say California was too?
You told me that.
No, it wasn't, but they want to be
Yeah.
their own country.
Well, they were part of Mexico, weren't they?
Yeah.
At one time.
I
and
see.
Yeah,
they
somebody
yeah,
snatched them right off of
Yeah,
Mexico,
they-
cut a slice off.
cut a slice off.
Yeah. All right, so let's have some more maps because
Maybe
we're about to
Santa
run
Ana
the
was
show
going
up.
to take that too.
I've got an 1857 Colton map of the United States of America. Whoops, I accidentally clicked on it and changed my screen. Says map in very good condition with the case. Foldable, but in perfect condition and original. $3,000 plus $38 shipping. It's in France, of all places, for the United States map. So,
Well, they helped us with the Revolutionary War, I
Yeah,
guess.
they did.
But they also give us a statue.
oh,
Well,
it's $2,000 by the or $3,000. Sorry if I
$3,000?
didn't say that. Yeah.
Free shipping?
No, $35.
$35.
From France. That's
From
not
France,
too bad.
that's not too bad.
Yeah. Maybe they knew it was going to bring a little bit of money. Here's an 1857 U.S. Coast Guard survey map of the Chesapeake Bay in 3 sections. It went for $1,925.
My goodness.
That's not bad at
That's
all.
not
I'd
bad
say
at
that
all,
was,
yeah.
that was probably pulled off a wall somewhere.
I can see it now. Howard's going to start working flea markets,
There you go.
hunting these maps.
Here's a 1577 Herefordshire.
What?
It's a Saxon map. It says first edition, extremely rare, hand colored, museum quality. It's in the United Kingdom, and they were asking 1900 and took a best offer, but that was north of 1700, so pretty decent for a map.
For a map.
Yeah. For a map.
It
Okay.
just never ceases to amaze me what can become a valuable.
Here is a 1935 Moria Haynes pictorial map of Yellowstone National Park.
Ooh,
That'd be neat.
That'd be neat.
Yeah, $1,595. You can have one just like that.
Wow.
You want one?
No.
Not for $1,500.
I'm holding out for $100.
Or 20.
You trade your globe for one, wouldn't you?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Here's an 1889 Charles Booth descriptive map of London poverty. 2 sheets with a key. There were 22 bids on that. Was $1,583.
London poverty.
Yeah, so I guess it's like a
You-
demographic of how much people
Oh, what?
earn or whatever.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Kind of like one of the census maps or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, I'd say they did censuses
Yeah.
Oh,
also.
okay.
Yeah, because that's in the Constitution that they have to.
Yeah.
Well,
The census.
England.
I'm talking about U.S.
Yeah.
yeah.
Here is a Theodore de Bry's The Sea Coast of Portugal map. It doesn't say what year it was, but it must be. It looks pretty old, and it brought $1,400. So somebody must know what it was. Oh yeah, it's beautiful. It's one of those with the sea monsters out in the water and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it the Loch Ness?
No.
No.
It says and the water that the sea monster's swimming through is called the Western Sea, also. So
Yeah, they used to do that on the real old maps when they had show the ocean.
yeah,
That they didn't know what was out there, so they put this monster like
yeah.
you know.
Don't go out there.
Don't go out there.
They're probably the ones that started the monster.
But how
thing,
did
right?
how did these early map makers? They come up with detailed maps, and I've seen
Pretty
some-
detailed.
and a lot of them are very accurate compared to what they do now. Now they can fly over it in an airplane and take all kind of pictures and measurements and stuff. But these guys and gals, most men, I suppose, back in those days, but walking on land with compasses and shooting stars to find the latitude and longitude. You know how you do the. And how did they come up with such accurate maps
You just said it.
back in the 17?
That's how they did it.
I know, but it's amazing how accurate they are in comparison to
You are right. Like some of the older maps, when it shows the United States, the first half of the United States, because it wasn't fully, what am I looking for?
It was accurate to the part that they had looked at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
But I mean, no,
Yeah.
obviously there were errors and stuff because they weren't quite, but they were amazingly close.
I've got one for you. The Piri Reis world map from 1513. They found it in a Turkish palace in 1929.
Uh-huh.
Shows Antarctica coastline without ice, and it is absolutely accurate.
Really?
And now the guy that made this map, he consulted even older maps, So I think that's probably how he got it. But what that tells you is that depicts civilizations that are older than modern civilizations.
Yeah.
Wow.
To have drawn those maps
Yeah.
without
Yeah.
ice.
It is amazing. though,
It
Harold.
is really amazing how close they were.
Can I brag on our popularity real quick before
Do
we
it.
run out of
You
time?
really can.
So I was at a family reunion this last week, our 4th of July, and I saw my cousin's wife Heather, who I haven't seen in 15 years probably, and she's into antiques, and she was like, "Oh, I heard that you're on a radio show talking about antiques." I'm like, "Yeah," and talked about it for a little bit, and she was like, "Wait a minute. I think I've seen that before." So we actually had somebody who vaguely knows me.
And that was over in East Tennessee.
And has
wasn't
heard Hunter's Down. Yeah, she's I guess they live in Chattanooga, but we were in Ottawa.
it? Yeah.
Believe it or not, though, I get friends requests all the time from people that watches. I mean, all the time. And I've asked all of you,
we
and
do.
all of you say. So our show's really getting out there.
Good. That's good.
Two ladies come from North Carolina had seen our show.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. Wow.
Came to the house. They've seen our show and the American Picker Show.
Oh wow.
And they liked ours better.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Of course.
How could they not?
That's right.
Yeah.
Hey, we're about out of time.
Okay. Hey, we got a couple minutes. I'm going to give you something just a little bit different. This is an 1863 Civil War Gettysburg map.
Oh, okay.
45 bits, $1,025.
Wow.
And on down away, I saw a Tennessee from the Civil War. Let me come down here and find it. They're picking in Clarksville, Tennessee, and parts of Alabama. If I can find it for you real quick. Right in here, because it was just a little less than 100. We're going to have it. Don't worry, here we go. Original antique Civil War map, Tennessee, Alabama, Clarksville, Tennessee, and Huntsville, Alabama. Close to $100, $96.
That's pretty cool, though.
Yeah, it's neat. Go back that far.
Now that I would love to have something like
it's
that.
pretty cool that for $100 you can get something like that
Yeah,
too. That's
Why
not
don't you
a bad
find
price.
one of those vintage maps that shows Manchester, and we'll buy that thing.
Yeah, now that's what we really need.
Yeah. Well, looks like that's about it for this week, guys. We better hang up here.
Hey,
Close
wouldn't you
out.
like to have a map, though, of Manchester, Tennessee, Tullahoma, Lynchburg, all the area, McMinnville?
From
Wouldn't
back
that be
in
the
the
coolest?
Civil War or
Yeah,
or-
Before they were incorporated.
That'd be interesting.
Or became town.
During the Civil War, that's right.
Yeah.
That's what we want.
Okay,
Yes.
we'll see you next week for more Let's Talk Antiques. See you next week. Bye-bye.